In today's sketching video, I'm using two separate techniques. Using the same subject matter, the first ink and wash, and the second paint first and then sketch later, as a bit of an experiment to see how different the results will be. For today's experiment, I'm going to be using some Canson A4 300 GSM watercolour cold press paper. For the first technique, I've already laid down the basic line work for the sketch. However, for the second technique, I will actually show the sketching process, to avoid this video being too long. The watercolours that I'm using are from the Mungyo 48 pan set, which I have incorrectly named in past videos. I have noticed for my sketching videos there's a bit of a pattern emerging with me creating sketches of old stone buildings. So whilst out in Ryde on the Isle of Wight the other day, I thought I'd do something different and try and find a shop window that would be interesting to sketch. I really wanted to do the chocolate apothecary that's on the seafront, but unfortunately it was covered in scaffolding, so I had a hot chocolate anyway and settled for this little boutique shop. I used a 01 Sepia waterproof fineliner from Unipin to go over the line work of my sketch, and then begin wetting the top area of the building with some clean water first. I'm going to do wet on wet with some buff titanium from Daniel Smith's, mainly on the moulding and the columns running down the front of the building. For the base of the brickwork, I start adding some Naples yellow, and I'm just dropping it into the water along the edges of the mouldings, the window and the panelling, and leaving the paint to spread into the wet paper. And then also the same Naples yellow to the weird bricks at the top of the building. The small bit of brickwork at the front of the shop, and also add some to the pavement. The way that I'm wanting to approach this first ink and wash technique will most probably lead to a tighter sketch than the second, but I'm still going to attempt to be loose with my watercolour, as this is something that I'm trying to improve upon, and will be interested to see how these two different approaches to the same subject will end up. So I haven't waited for any of the washes that I've used for the brickwork and such to dry, before adding a mix of cerulean and ultramarine blue for the gorgeous blue Victorian shop front. Just like with the top of the building, I used some clean water to wet the area before I added any paint, and focused on adding the paint to the areas of blue where they are the darkest and letting the paint flow into the water. To help balance out the sketch, I use some indigo for the dark windows, so that there is some form of blues within the top part of the building and not just all in the shop front. It's a bit of a shame that the majority of the windows are so dark. It would have been nice to have some ambient lighting to add some interest to the sketch, but I suppose it's a bit of a testament to the fact that no one in this country can afford to use electricity at the moment. But anyways, I'm going to paint all of the windows dark except for the small window at the top, which you will see further into the sketch has a curtain or at least some fabric that's kind of hung up. But for now, I'm going to continue adding some indigo to the majority of the windows. I leave working on the main shop window for a little bit longer and give that more attention later once I've got all of these other windows filled in. For the big blocky bricks at the top of the building, I drop in some splodges of some brown red, and then whilst that paint is still wet, I also add in a little bit of Payne's grey from Daniel Smith, and then let the two colours blend together. Whilst I had some Payne's grey on my brush, I started adding some shadows and started building up some contrast, and then set about darkening some of these windows up again. Once the paint had dried, they definitely didn't look dramatic enough. The building's either side to the shop that I'm focusing on. I'm not going to really be adding too much detail to. I just want to make little abstract references and washes, with the exception to the windows, as I want the eyes to focus on the main building. For the brickwork at the top of the structure, I want to add some colour splashes so that the base isn't just one colour. Even though the colour of the bricks are pretty uniform, they're still not exactly the same. Besides, I love a bit of a colour splash, and it's a great and quick way to adding some texture and interest to some brickwork. There's a column on the top right of the building that's very pale grey, so I mix some French grey with a little bit of white in it and just do a couple of strokes with wet on dry, which ended up adding a bit of different texture to the sketch. And I added the same grey to kind of bring out the folds in the fabric in that window. With some burnt umber, I started adding some contrast to the pavement and the base of the building. And then with a bit of Payne's grey, I started to try and darken up these blimmin' windows again. I don't know, I just wasn't too happy with them. And now to concentrate on the shop front, which is the bit that I've been looking forward to, adding all the bits and bobs in the window. I used a mix of deep phthalo green and then a little bit of, I think it was ultramarine blue, to mix a sort of tealy colour for the Welsh dresser. That's one of the main objects in the window. Whilst I leave that to dry before I add any objects onto the Welsh dresser, I started adding the details to the door, and then annoyingly, after having a tea break, I forgot to hit the record button. So there's a chunk where I thought I was recording whilst I was working on the shop window, and I wasn't. To add the detail for the bricks, I'm using my fineliner. Now, I'm not going to bother adding every single brick. One, that would take me forever, and with having 2 sketches to do, I'm not really feeling it. So I decided to add little clusters of brickwork here and there, so that there's enough detail to reference the fact that it's a brick wall. Then with the same fineliner, I'm adding in the paving stones on the pavement, and I add the paving slabs to the areas of the sketch where there is a wash of paint, but any areas that are left unpainted, I leave those blank. I think it just leads to a really interesting look and also lends itself to the loose look that I'm trying to achieve. So with that complete, now for technique number 2, where I'm going to do a paint first and then draw later. So with some fresh clean water, I start by wetting the area of paper where I want to work on, making rough shapes of the building with the water first before I add any paint. Just like I did with the first sketch, I start off with the lighter tones first. So I use some buff titanium, dropping it into the water to form the initial shapes of the lighter areas. Whilst the area is still wet, I then add some Naples yellow to add darker values to the bricked area. And I'm kind of mapping out the details, like the columns and the windows. I don't know if it's me, but I find it's really helpful to squint your eyes whilst looking at the image that you're using as a reference. I find it helps to sort of see the contrast in what you're viewing a bit more. For this sketch, I decided to simplify the image a bit more and focus on sketching the area of the shop front and a small section of the building above. I'm hoping it will lead to a less structured sketch, in pursuit of that looser vibe that I want to achieve. Also, this time I'm adding all the different shades of colours to form the image whilst the paper is still wet. I'm not worrying about letting the lighter areas of paint to dry before adding, say for instance, the blue shop front that I'm working on now. If the colours bleed into each other, then so be it. In fact, I actually want that to happen in places. It will lead to some spontaneous colour blends and some interesting results. For the darkened areas of the windows, I did intend to use the indigo again, but I got a bit mixed up with the colours on my palette and I used some Payne's grey instead. This stage of the sketch can seem quite messy and am I doing this all wrong here? I think just keep rolling with it and see what you can do. It's kind of like a challenge. Can I make this mess that I'm creating into something that it's supposed to look like? With a clean, wet brush, I start lifting off some of the areas of where those columns are, and then I'm going to let everything dry, have a cup of tea, and then see what I've got to work with. Now that everything's dry, I'm going to start adding all the details to the shop front window. I'm going to use the colours that I mixed up in my palette from the previous sketch. This is one of the things that I really love about this technique. I really love how the paint for the blue wooden facade has bled into the brick area and how some blooms have formed. I love how the things that we tend to avoid when using watercolour can actually work in our favour with this kind of sketch. For all my line work, I decided to use a sepia fineliner for these sketches. I thought it would be interesting to see how different the sketch would look using something a bit more subtle than my usual black fineliners. I currently have two sizes in this colour, a 0.1 and a 0.5. I'm using the 0.1 fineliner for all of my initial sketch lines, and then as the sketch progresses, if I feel like there's any lines that need to be a bit thicker or darker, I can use the 0.5. When I laid down the initial wash for the columns, it appears that I may have made a little bit of a mistake and spaced out the two blue columns a bit too much. But that doesn't matter, I'm just going to draw the column how they should be, even though the blue doesn't correspond to where the column is. When it came to the line work for this particular sketch, even though I still have the reference photo in front of me, I'm kind of going more with muscle memory from doing the previous sketch and looking at it less, so kind of going with how it feels rather than how it should look, if that makes sense. I wanted the line work to be less structured and kind of strict, a little bit more organic and wobbly. With all the basic sketch work complete, I needed to darken up the windows again. This time I make sure to use the indigo blue. And I can start adding in the darker areas and shadow work. I wanted to introduce some more colour into the brickwork area. It was all looking a bit too flat, so I re-wet the area and started adding in some more Naples yellow and touches of burnt sienna. With regards to the brickwork, I thought it would be quite interesting if I could do different techniques for the different areas. So for instance, this area in between the two columns, I'm going to be painting individual bricks throughout the whole section. For these bricks, I'm using a mix of the yellow Naples and some burnt sienna. And for the bricks at the bottom towards the pavement, I used some Payne's grey, as those bricks were a little bit dirty and also more in shadow. For the pavement and the paving stones, I'm using the same mix that I've just used for the brick. I'm not particularly following the pattern of the paving slabs that are in the photograph, I'm just making sort of suggestions that they're there. And I'm adding a mix of the Payne's grey, buff titanium and the burnt sienna to create different tone and texture. For this section of brickwork surrounding the windows, I'm doing the same sort of thing that I did with my first sketch. I'm not going to go and paint in every single brick along the wall, but dotting them around here and there. And now to get to work on all the little details in the shop window. In the first sketch, I tried to copy everything that was on display as much as possible. And I started to do that again with this sketch. But then I thought it would look better if I added some more red into the sketch. In the previous version, staying true to what was in the photo, I just added the red on the sale sign in the door window and in the bunting. But I thought to add a bit more colour, I would add some to some cushions and other bits and bobs that are on display. It's quite difficult to see in the photograph exactly what is on the shelf, so I'm just going to kind of make things up as I go along and add bits and bobs like vases and photographs and bits of material on the Welsh dresser and a few extra plants. For drawing all the details on the Welsh dresser and in the window itself, I do bring back my black fineliner because I think it needed the darker pen so that everything would stand out against such a dark background. And because it's such tiny details, I am using a 0.1 nib. I wanted to add some highlights to the items in the windows to kind of help make them pop. So to do this, I used a Uni-ball Signo white gel pen, which I used on the sale sign and on the little chalkboards in the window, and also on the bunting, which I do end up changing because it just didn't look right. Once again with the pavement outside the shop, I used the same method that I used in the previous version. However, I much prefer the colour of the slabs in this sketch. With a few more highlights using my white gel pen, we're almost done. With both techniques of the shop front complete, I'm actually really surprised at how similar they both are. I was expecting more of a difference if I'll be honest, but there were elements in both sketches that I liked. For example, I liked the overall composition of the first sketch, but I preferred the paved area and the shop window in the second one. And I found the overall creative process of the paint first and sketch later version a lot more fun to make. But I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Which version of the sketch did you prefer the most? And which process do you find more entertaining to watch? I have a couple of awesome sketching locations that I can't wait to share with you coming up on my channel over the next 2 weeks. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that I can keep you updated on future content. Thank you so much for watching and hopefully see you in the next one. And take care.